Hello and welcome to Across the Formation. And, well, where are we, gents?
I know, right?
Finally, have we made it? I don't think we've made it.
4 episodes in. I know we haven't made it. We'll get on to you in a minute. But 4 episodes in, and look at this. Unreal.
This is incredible. We're in the studio, if you're just listening on audio, but we're in a studio behind Sam Harris. Welcome, Sam Harris. I'm Ollie Hunter, by the way. Behind Sam Harris, there's his jersey, the jersey for his team, the Philadelphia Eagles. We've got the Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, and Jerry Rice legend jersey as well. Where's mine? That's out of order.
Well, we got
it?
a cheesehead and corn.
Fair. But with Gavin written on it.
I thought after this weekend, it might be a bit too soon. We'll kind of leave that out.
Yeah,
next week, once you've got over it, we'll get you a package jersey.
I don't think I'm going to get over it. It's taken a while.
Yeah.
It took a while to get. Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Will Gavin, how was Philadelphia? How are you feeling? How's the voice? Are you okay?
Philadelphia was incredible, and look, on the show, like, bit of a different format this week. We're going to do our winners and losers from the wildcard round, but I went into that game so excited to be there, so amazed the 49ers had taken us over, like, ready for the comms, like, all of that, but absolutely and fully expecting the 49ers to lose. When I'd seen how poor the defence had been against Seattle, when I'd seen how bad the tackling was, when I just looked at that whole laundry list of injuries, and I didn't start to even believe until the fourth quarter. When they had to settle for the field goal to put themselves up 19-17, that was the first time I kind of went, I think we're actually going to do this. I think we might actually win this game of football. Like, it took them midway through the fourth quarter to get there. Like, It was an unreal experience. The first time I've ever called a game in a non-neutral stadium, right? So we've only ever we've done the Super Bowl a few times now, and we do all the international games. And so even when it's the road team at an international game, they still play music when a touchdown's scored. They'll still have lots of fans in the crowd. So there's still a lot of noise. There's nothing weirder than commentating on a go-ahead touchdown to basically silence and a bit of booing around you. And our commentary position, we were put in, like, behind the back row of the fans, literally on, like, have you ever been in, like, the lower bowl of the O2? You've got they've got those seats at the back that are like the stools with a little, like, ledge in front of them. We were basically there, right? The nearest fans to us could touch us. During our opener, one guy turned around and very loudly to our colour commentator went, "What are you guys doing?" And you completely heard it on mic, right? So we've got these fans who are that close to us, and I am screaming about this historic moment and this team that was so downtrodden and everything else, while there's Eagles fans literally well within punching distance. Like, the whole thing was just crazy, but incredible. The locker room afterwards was incredible. The whole thing was just unreal. And I've just found out in the last hour before we started recording this.
Is this breaking news?
This is breaking news.
Breaking news.
I'm off to Seattle this weekend.
Oh!
We're doing the Seahawks 49ers game in stadium.
Well, they had to, didn't they? Because
you've gone viral overnight.
You've gone viral overnight. You call the team winning, the battered, bruised 49ers winning. They had to bring you back over, because if they didn't and you lose, then, I mean, that's the reason why.
Are we saying I'm the good luck over now? That feels like more pressure than I can actually handle, I'm afraid.
I think you might be the good luck charm.
Ridiculous.
How did you feel when Kittle went out? That must have been for you, like, right, this is officially done. I mean, how many more players can you lose?
None. Like, literally, I think... No, we'll get into one of the winners and losers, but that moment in particular was... It was so obvious. We were the other side of the field from it, and it was right around the 30-yard line and kind of almost directly opposite us. And it was his first catch of the game, and our co-commentator, Alfredo Gutierrez, the former 49ers offensive tackle, he literally said just before that play, they'd scored the touchdown on the opening drive and then had there was a 3 and out and then a punt straight after that. And he said, like, we've seen none of George Kittle today. I want to see him come into the game. I want to see him get some opportunities. Next play, that 5-yard out, goes to the sideline, and you just saw the moment he went down and didn't bounce back up, holding his ankle, you knew immediately. Like, there was no qualms about it. All the players go over. Shanahan gets over to that sideline as well, because it happened over on the Eagles sideline. And, like, you know, he started to try and get up himself, and there was that moment of hope, and then you see the cart rolling across the field, and you knew. But you have to say, the guy who is the heart and soul of the team, right? The guy who is the driving force behind so much good that is the San Francisco 49ers. The fact that he gets to the locker room, Jed York, our owner, is the first person who greets him there, says, "George, is there anything we can get? Is there anything we can do?" And he just says, bring me a bottle of tequila.
So on brand.
Jed York goes up to the owner's box, gets a bottle of tequila down to the locker room, and Carl Juszczyk told us, the fullback, after the game, he said that he came into the locker room and George was there with a bottle of tequila with his foot up, watching the game on a screen, and he could see Carl Juszczyk came up to him ashen-faced, and Kittle said to him, "I'm not dead.
Yeah.
I'll come back. Don't worry about me. Just go out and win it." And it just, the whole thing, the whole atmosphere of that team afterwards, the whole camaraderie was just unbelievable.
What a team player as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I love him so much.
He said on his social media that he will be back, and I think it's key that he does come back. But it's such a galvanising thing, isn't it? No doubt it galvanised the guys during the game, and you could probably see it being used as some sort of fillip for the squad, for the team, for Shani, to rally the troops and, this playoff drive, this Super Bowl drive for a home Super Bowl, let's do it for George.
And look, spoiler warning, I might talk about it in my winners and losers, but the coaching job that came off the back of that George Kittle injury, I think the awards should be voted for after the playoffs. I don't think it should be done in the regular season, because after that Seahawks loss, I totally understand why people wouldn't have voted for Kyle Shanahan as Coach of the Year. After what I saw on Sunday, he should be getting 50 out of 50 AP votes.
Yeah, just the comeback. It's almost a comeback of the year kind of stuff, because you looked knackered after that Seahawks game.
I was. Oh, sorry, you meant the 49ers.
But after that Seahawks game, I did think, and a lot of people, yourself included, didn't give the Niners a hope, a prayer to go to a defense and a hostile environment in Philadelphia.
Me and our host, Will Vardy, who had flown in, we flew in the day before. We were in a bar watching the Packers-Bears game. It got to half-time. We'd both been up for 20 hours at this point. We'd had a couple of drinks with the team, not the team, but the international team, the guys that were out there covering it. And Will just turned to me and went, "I'd be truly stunned if you won tomorrow." I was like, "I don't need that energy. I don't need you to bring that to me while it's in our brains it's 5 a.m. or whatever." And at that point I was like, "I think I'm going to go to bed, guys. See you later."
So you missed the second half then?
I got back to the room. I realised the game was on Prime. I started to load it up onto the TV in the room, and I woke up fully clothed at 3 a.m. with the remote still in my hand, with the Prime login screen still on the TV.
Well, myself and Ollie were covering it on talkSPORT 2, and I know it's a sore subject for you, but what a game! I mean,
let's get into the winners and losers, because that's
before we get into that. I mean,
before we actually do the podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's if you're seeing us for the first time, we are 3 NFL fans, friends have worked here at talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2, and we've come together to do this Across the Formation podcast. Now, a lot of people have said, who have seen it already, aren't you just the evolution of each other? Bespectacled,
we're three stages of the same Pokemon.
You said 3 stages of the same Pokemon. Today, even, we've come in and there was no planning on what we're going to wear. No. Brown shirt, white t-shirt, shirt. I mean, what's going on?
I was due to get my beard done this morning, and last night when I was reading through some of those comments I was sending you, I mean, some of them were brilliant. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to get one more podcast in when we're in our fancy new studio with the beard looking long and luscious. Next week I might trim it down a bit, but just for the...
Don't do it.
Should we lean into it more?
Somebody replied to Sam, right? Somebody replied to Sam saying, if I could clone myself twice, I'd do a podcast with myself as well. That's very much been the attitude of people who have watched us so far. Ridiculous.
And it's definitely... Sam's the original, the OG, because we're just the clones that went wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say that.
100%.
But boys, it's not just this swanky new studio and the fact we're actually all together for once and all of that nonsense this week. We also, and me going viral, let's not forget that.
Oh, yeah. You haven't brought that up enough.
The other new thing this week is we've got a sponsor.
What? What idiot's done that?
The lovely people, no. The wonderful people at talkSPORT Bet are coming in and getting involved in the show because, I mean, with it being divisional round weekend coming up and then the conference championship after that and the Super Bowl, talkSPORT Bet are giving new customers a brilliant welcome offer. Bet £10. Get £40 in free bets. That's right, stake a tenner on any NFL market and you'll get 40 quid back in free bets to use across all of the action. Whether it's touchdown scorers, match winners, whether it's, whether you're betting the line, whether you're betting the spread, whatever it is, talkSPORT Bet has you covered all the way up to the Super Bowl. Just head to talksportbet.com/NFL, sign up, Place your £10 bet and you'll enjoy £40 in free bets. It is new customers only. Bet £10, get the £40 in free bets. Minimum odds apply. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
So, winners and losers from Super Wildcard Weekend.
It's not Super Wildcard Weekend. One of the winners is us because they don't call it Super Wildcard Weekend
Did they only
anymore.
have like a year of that then?
Yeah, a couple of years, and then they dropped it because it's nonsense. It sounds absolutely stupid.
Oh, bring it back.
Right,
We were plugging it enough on talkSPORT 2 as Super Wildcard Weekend.
Well, so the problem was they kept calling it Super Wildcard Weekend, and then because they'd introduced a seventh seed, and because it was suddenly actually the quality of the games hadn't been very good, and everyone was taking the mickey out of it and going, it's not very super, is it?
Well,
and then they take the name away, and we end up getting the best Wildcard Weekend maybe in the history of the NFL.
Well, it was because, I mean, one of the winners was us this weekend, and I'll go earlier with my winners. We'll come back round to my actual winner, but I think this is worth noting. This weekend was insane. We had
us.
Every NFL fan,
Okay,
even
great.
if a fan of sport, if you tuned in this weekend and you didn't watch the NFL before, it was an insane weekend of games. Granted, the last two didn't. I mean, how can you live up to the first four? Like, they were going to slow down at some point. But the first four games, this stat that I read was insane. There were 12 fourth quarter lead changes in the first four games. That's more than any other time in the playoffs. Not the wildcard weekend, the playoffs. And we did that in 4 games. It had everything. It had comebacks. It had it had lead changes. It had drama. It was just every single game. It got to the Philadelphia game. I was like, this can't continue, and it did. It just rolled on and on. And I think the biggest winner this weekend was us as fans, because
The true winner is the game.
the
sport
game.
of the
I know,
NFL.
let's get cheesy, but it was absolutely insane. Like, it just confirmed why this is the best sport in the world for me. The drama it brings is second to none, and it happens weekend after weekend. And for us to get 4 games in a row like that, we are the winners.
Love it. Love it.
I think the NFL are the winners as well. I mean, a lot of people lambasted the expansion of the playoffs for an extra team and only the 1 seed getting the bye, but I think the format is now justified given the quality of games that we've had, and even when you look at the 2 games, the more defensive games, even those games were great from a defensive point of view. We had 11 sacks in the Chargers-Patriots game, and then last night Monday night in the Texans game, we saw an absolute defensive masterclass. So we had, as you said, Sam, absolutely everything across the whole gambit of the Wild Card
On
weekend.
our first episode, I said that Texans defense is good enough to win the Super Bowl, and they only proved it this past weekend.
Well, they're my winners.
Oh, there we go. Let's get. Yeah, we go.
There you go.
A natural segue. It's almost like we're all professionals or something.
Well, they are my winners because they were unbelievable last night. I did the game on talkSPORT 2, and pull behind the curtain here, where the Chargers-Patriots game, and maybe it was after a couple of really long games and really exciting games, and the one beforehand with the where you out with the Niners and the Eagles, and that whole thing, it was a bit of a come down because it was cold. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the most exciting of games.
You had an MVP candidate in Drake May who had his worst half of football of the whole season in the first half. It was just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong a little bit. We're singing the praise of the whole weekend. That game could probably get in the bin.
It could get in the bin,
Yeah.
but let's gloss over it because the Texans game, and you could look at it, it was 7-6 at the half, and this is a bit cagey. And the first half was a bit cagey, and both offenses couldn't really get anything going. CJ Stroud fumbled the ball 5 times. He also mishandled the snap another 2 or 3 times. So those were their problems. But that Texans defense, oh my God. And talking of God, Jalen Petrie in the locker room to Jordan Rodriguez afterwards said, God is greatest, the Texans defense is a close number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, how good is that? If you subscribe to the former thing. But I just with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, no relation, on the edges. You've got Tommy Togiai down the middle, Sheldon Rankins, who managed to get that
Big boy touchdown,
rumbling touchdown off of the strip sack from Will Anderson as well. The collapsing of the pocket meant that Rodgers couldn't step up, couldn't get the time to throw, and we know that as the time has gone on, Rodgers under pressure hasn't been the guy that he used to be. But even so, In the back end, you've got Lassiter, you've got Petrie, you've got Bullock, who got the pick six in the as well. It's just
and Derek Stingley. You've not mentioned the best player on the defense, maybe.
Derek
Like,
Stingley.
unbelievable.
You've got Aziz Al-Shaair and Henry To'oTo'o as well. This defense, it reminds me of that Denver Broncos defense 10 years ago. Just how good it is.
D'Amico Ryans, who, by the way, another member of the kind of Shanahan tree as well. Like, it's wild how much that is taking over the NFL this season in particular. Has done an unbelievable coaching job there. My concern is CJ Stroud had 5 fumbles on the night. The Steelers defense turned up as well and played incredibly well. But 5 fumbles. The offense, as much as they stabilised off the back of his injury, Davis Mills, Nick Caley, started to bring more of what he did at the Patriots in, more of the flair. They had a tough time last night. I do look at who's left in these playoffs and think, at some point, the Texans are going to have to score 25 points, 30 points to win a game. And I do have some concerns about them doing that, as much as this defense is so phenomenal.
And I should imagine they'll be out without Nico Collins, who looked like he took a massive hit in the first half. It was a bang-bang play through the middle. And then in the second half, he goes and kind of face plants into the turf. He gets taken off on a cart for a concussion. I mean, that is super worrying. Yeah. And he is.
But then Christian Kirk stands up and has his best game as a Texan, right?
Exactly. 144 yards on the day, touchdown, just amazing performance from him. This Texans team, the defense put CJ Stroud on their back. Can they do that again next week against the Patriots? We'll have to wait and see.
Can I mess with the format immediately before we've even really started the show?
Why not, mate? Do what you want on here, mate.
It's basically, this show is like the catch out of bounds sign from
That's
the.
That's a little
from
too
the
close to 6-7 for me. I think they might have to change the catch out of bounds. Although it is the greatest ref call in all of the game. The juggle. It's my absolute favourite. Listen, I want to do my loser because it's from the same game and I think it feeds in nicely.
You're the man of the moment, mate. You do what you want.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. 7 straight playoff losses. 5 straight playoff losses of double-digit points, which is an NFL record. I'm going to get the actual stats up here because I need to know them. The Texans outgained the Steelers by 233 yards. The 175 yards is the lowest they've had in a playoff game, and this is the perennial playoff team, since their first ever playoff game against the Eagles in 1947.
Wow.
It's the worst differential of yardage they've ever had in a playoff game. And this is a Steelers team that, famously, right, only 3 head coaches in the Super Bowl era. Mike Tomlin's been there since 2007. But for this franchise that have 6 Super Bowl victories, that carry themselves as one of the all-time greats, that have at least really 2 eras that you would consider a dynasty, he's the most winning head coach in the regular season, and he's the worst coach in the playoff in Steelers history. And I think it is finally time for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as a franchise who don't like to make decisions, who like to pause, who like to take a step back, is to go, if the Ravens are going to move on from Jim Harbaugh and make that huge decision, maybe it is time that we need to pull off the Band-Aid, we need to let Mike Tomlin go, and we need to say, right, we need to move into the new era. We need to find ourselves a new quarterback, we need to reinvigorate the offense, and we need to say, it's an aging roster, it's got guys who are going out of contract, it's got defensive players that are getting beyond their best. Like, TJ Watt had a great game, right? But he is... You look at his body of work over the season, it's nowhere near that Defensive Player of the Year guy we've had before.
And injuries
it's
are catching
flashes
up
and
with him
moments
as well.
of brilliance. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't blame a guy, right? Pass rushers fall off after 30. It's just something that happens. It's very rare that it doesn't. He has had a Hall of Fame career, hands down, first ballot, walk straight in. And he'll still be a key part of this defense over these years. But Cam Hayward, I mean, he's approaching 40 at this point.
Yeah.
Right? They need an injection of youth at almost every level. They need a great draft. They need, I think, a new head coach as well. And I think this whole thing of Mike Tomlin never having a losing record in the regular season, I think it's been papering over the cracks for 5 or 6 years now. Yeah. And now it's finally time to go, right,
Well, it leaves
We
you
need
in
a
no
change.
man's land, really, doesn't it? I mean, sometimes you do need a couple of bad seasons so you can draft well and pick stuff up. When you're kind of left in that situation, it's why you end up with quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, who sounded like last night, this is probably going to be his last game. He managed to take a swipe at the Jets by saying that he's played for two incredibly historic franchises in his career. Obviously,
And
one
the
of
New
those
York
were
Jets.
and the New York Jets. So, yeah, I agree with you, Will. I think that there is time for them to kind of shake things up and move up. I think that really there's a good chance that they all might have new head coaches next year in that division.
I've got a feeling.
No. The problem is the Bengals are going to stick with Zach Taylor because they're idiots. Because
Sorry,
Mike Brown
they all
is
should.
ridiculous. Because, like, they'll sit around there and they go, we're going to zig when everyone else zags and stay with the guy who can't win us games with the best quarterback, well, top 4 quarterback in the NFL. It infuriates.
So my producer head's going crazy. We're all producers, but we're doing this and I love it. But I'm thinking, TJ Watt or JJ Watt, who's better? We'll do that in the off-season.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Also, Aaron Rodgers, when you said that, I don't think this will be his last one.
Do you not?
I said it on last week's show. I think Aaron Rodgers will end up at the Raiders and sitting in front of Fernando Mendoza for a year.
That's unbelievable. They trade for him?
I think they just let him go.
Oh, my God.
Let's get him out of the building. He will not want...
Brady and Rodgers working together.
That's
Are we having
insane.
this?
He will not want his last pass in the NFL to be a pick six in the playoffs in a game where his team were completely dominated.
That I can believe, to be fair. That he is way
So legacy obsessed.
100%.
And listen, and it makes so much sense. 1 year, and if you're the Raiders and you're Brady and you've seen what's happened to Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years, if you've got Fernando Mendoza, the Indiana who's your quarterback who has looked fantastic in that game against Ohio, let's have him sit behind Rodgers for a year, learn everything. Rodgers is still one of the best readers of defense. He read the defense last night against the Texans. The Texans had to go from verbal to hand communications to get past it, and he could still read them. But with the weapons around him and how good that defense is, he still couldn't do anything about it. He will want to come back.
I think maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's why you go, if I can't even still overcome that despite being clearly the most intelligent man on this field, then maybe I've got to accept the physical skills are gone. Yeah, I'm not having it. What's your winner?
My winner this weekend is Caleb Williams. He was insane in that game. He was making throws that only a couple of quarterbacks in this league can make. And speaking of one of them, it does remind me so much of a younger Aaron Rodgers. I know he has come out and said himself that he's a Packers fan. He based his entire game on Aaron Rodgers. That throw he made...
He said he's a Packers fan.
Yeah.
Which is so funny when you got Ben Johnson going into the locker room after the game and
Yeah.
saying, F the Packers, F them, we hate them. Like Ben Johnson's bringing real rivalries back to the NFL, and Caleb Williams is
100%.
going, oh, I quite like the Packers. They're the team I supported as a kid. Like, come on,
I know.
mate. Get on board, get with the program,
Well,
Caleb.
we were doing the game on talkSPORT 2, weren't we? And the first half, I mean, Ben Johnson was making it tough on them. He was making some strange play calls. He was constantly going on it from fourth. And I think a lot of people who were watching that game thought the game was done. But Caleb Williams had other ideas. And I mean, also as well, in the first half, we thought maybe his head had gone. We saw him berating Luther Burden on the side, and we thought, have the lights got a bit too bright for him here? Well, how wrong were we? That second half performance from him was unreal. And as I said, that throw on 4th and 8 to Roma Dunze, where he rolled out
the
to
roll
his
on
left.
the left.
Off his feet.
Unreal,
And
yeah.
like, there's only 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league that can make that throw. And he was just insane. I mean, some of the stats have already come out about him. He's already beat the Packers more times than Jay Cutler, Mitch Trubisky, and Justin Fields combined.
That's amazing.
Combined.
That's incredible.
That's
I
really
mean,
good,
you're
yeah.
already, like, this is the oldest rivalry in football. And I know obviously not for you, it's cool to see this happen, but for the neutral, to see this actually be a proper rivalry. We saw Ben Johnson after the game as well, when he was asked about the handshake and his comments in the locker room. He was like, this is a rivalry. This is how it should be. And I've got so much time for that. And I think the person leading that is Caleb Williams. He was insane in that game. He was a joy to watch. And I know
Well, he
it
was
wasn't for
insane
you.
in the second
But-
half.
yes,
and he was
yeah.
insane in the second half both times in the regular season against the Packers. Couldn't quite get it done in the first game at Lambeau Field, but did get it done in the second game at Soldier Field just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think he really is feast or famine. And the longer he goes on in his career, he'll be far more feast. And you can tell
Well-
he does have it all, but he does have the ability to not make an easy throw.
Yeah, and I think as well, he doesn't turn the ball over that much, and all of these big moments he's getting right now, he's get like that overtime wins, the throw that he made to get to that point. Some of these plays he's making, the experience he is gaining in such a short space of time, like this relationship between him and Ben Johnson is going to be super fun to watch if you're not a Packers fan.
The throw to DJ Moore at the end again was just outrageous. Well, what are you making of Caleb Williams this season and the progression that he's shown
the
so
fourth
far?
quarter comebacks have been incredible, and you saw the flashes in his rookie year, right? Like, he's a guy who has, you mentioned the rollout on the 4th and 8 when he hits Roma Dunze. The throwing position there, to get the amount of velocity that he gets on the ball, despite the fact that he's basically doing a star jump and twisting around, and then just to have the complete whip in his wrist to be able to make a pin-perfect throw in perfect coverage, with double coverage as well, not just perfect coverage.
Yeah.
I like, it is a wow throw that they'll be showing time and time and time again.
Yeah, there's a DVD of it already.
Yeah, I can imagine. They just need to find some consistency with him. They just need to find some consistency in the play calling.
Yeah.
Like, right now he's got the upside of the very top tier quarterbacks in the NFL.
I agree.
But he's got to be smarter with the ball. He's got to be smarter with his decision making. He's still got to improve in his reading of the defense. But part of the problem here for me is that we've got these ridiculous expectations on quarterbacks nowadays. They're going to enter the league and be that good from day one all of the time. And if you go back to historically, outside of maybe Brady, who comes in and does what he does with the Patriots, who is the most one-of-one quarterback in NFL history, generally guys aren't good till they're in year 3, year 4 when they come in as a rookie. Even guys like Marino throwing for the yardage record in his rookie season still threw 30-plus interceptions. Like, these are things that they learn over their first 4 or 5 years, and he is a guy who I think for the next 15 years will be a top-tier quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry, but if I was right now, like, drafting a quarterback out of that division, I would have to take serious consideration of Caleb over Jordan Love, and that's mad.
Yeah.
When even just 4 or 5 weeks ago, I said Jordan Love in a heartbeat.
But Jordan Love didn't have a bad game.
No.
Jordan Love, some of the throws that he did, especially at the back end of that fourth quarter, the first half he was automatic. He was outrageously good. Well, let's get on to my loser. It's Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers. Because what happened in that halftime team talk? What happened there? What is going on? How have the Packers managed to throw away another double-digit lead? They've done that 5 times already this season. For the 6th time was the Denver Broncos' 9-point lead that they threw away in that fourth quarter. It's just so frustrating to see, as a Packers fan, things go so well in the first half, and you think, well, before this game, I would have gone, yeah, we're going to put the Bears away. But because of what's happened earlier on in the season, I knew that this wasn't a foregone conclusion at half-time.
They had to score 25 fourth-quarter points, though. Like, that's not a 10-point comeback. Matthew Golden scores a touchdown in that fourth quarter. You put points on the board and somehow still lose. And look, what's telling to me is something that you said to me over the weekend in our text chat, which was, you think they've gone as far as they can with Matt LaFleur. We're hearing overnight that he is having contract talks. He's only got a year left, and they didn't extend him before the season. There was a lot of debate about that. There's Jim Harbaugh out there. There might be Mike Tomlin out there. There's Mike McDonald. No, he's not there. I bet you wish he was. I bet the Ravens wish he was still on their staff. They'd give him a job in a heartbeat. There's Mike McDaniel out there. There's some big names who are available who would be perfect to work with Jordan Love. Should they have just gone, we've hit a ceiling, thank you very much, Matt, on you go?
I think they should have done. Because it's 3 seasons in a row that we're the 7th seed in the NFC. 3 seasons in a row we've been dumped out of the playoffs. The trend of the manner of defeats is really bad. This is the second worst defeat in Packers history. It took me 2 weeks to get over that 2014 defeat to the Seahawks. 2 weeks! And I'm still not over this one. All right, it's been a few more days and...
He says 2 weeks. What he means is the actual initial grieving process. As you can clearly tell from his behaviour here, he's not over that 2014 NFC Championship game. If I was to talk about onside kicks with you, like, I think you might not talk to me for the next week and a half anyway.
I don't even want to look at you.
Well, it almost like, and that's probably a reason that you probably should get rid of him is that you don't want it to become part of your DNA, these ridiculous losses in this fashion. Who would you want?
I mean, it's Spursy, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The Packers are Spursy,
Yeah.
right? Like they're throwing these things away. They're a better team than they're showing up on in results on paper. The Packers are Spurs, and it pains me to say it.
Who do you want next then?
I'd take Harbaugh. I'd take Mike McDaniel.
I'd take Harbaugh. You know.
Yeah. Or I'd go
Super-winning
a
head coach.
two-headed monster. Have the innovativeness of, or the invention of Mike McDaniel, and then the experience of Harbaugh. I think would be an amazing combination. It's all pie in the sky. We won't. I doubt they'll bring back Josh Jacobs. He's only a 6.8 million cap hit for the beginning of next season. Move on from him. There's no way Brandon McManus comes back. 7 points. People are saying it was down to McManus that the Packers lost this game. All right, 7 points is a big deal that he missed, but I think coming out of the half, 3 consecutive 3-and-outs, 1 first down in 4 straight plays, 4 straight drives. Packers have gone as far as they can with Matt LaFleur, and it pains me to say it, and I'm not being sensationist just because of the station that we're on, and I'm still hurting. Maybe that's a part of it, but Matt LaFleur, thank you, but no thank you.
That was sassy.
It's so funny because if Matt LaFleur was fired, I'd make him immediately the
100%.
second best head coach out there in this.
But sometimes it just comes to an end at a certain
cycle.
place, doesn't it? Like it seems to. I think you've had so many gut-wrenching losses in that fashion that it's just what one can he do next?
You know what it is? It's Andy Reid with the Eagles. It's Andy Reid got to a Super Bowl. He got to NFC Championship games. He was the winningest head coach in Eagles history. But they had to say at some point, you
It's
just
exactly
can't
that.
go and win the big one. He goes to Kansas City. He drafts Patrick Mahomes. He wins 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. Like it's just and it would be so devastating to you if Matt LaFleur goes and takes a job elsewhere. Because I've been thinking this about Shanahan for a while with the 49ers, is that if they at any point turned around and went, do you know what? Your inability to get over the line in the big game is really costing you. And I saw an astonishing stat about the 49ers this weekend. So there are 5 teams in NFL history who have managed to go to 6 or more straight championship games whenever they've got to the playoffs, right? The 49ers are one of them. Anytime they've been to the playoffs in the last 7 occasions, they've got to at least the NFC Championship game. Everyone else on that list of 5 had at least 2 Super Bowls, most of them 3. The 49ers, 0.
Yeah.
Like that is that big game, that unable to get over the line thing. But if Matt LaFleur goes and takes the job at, I don't know, Baltimore and wins 3 titles with Lamar Jackson or something, then you are screaming into your pillow every night for the rest of your life.
Well, I've been screaming into
He
my pillow for the last 3 nights.
Doing that anyway.
I've been doing that anyway. What about this? Matt LaFleur to the Raiders, takes Rodgers with him. Fernando Mendoza. Sorry. If it happens, I look like a genius, but it's not going to happen.
All right, I'm going to do my winner.
Do your winner.
Oh, who could it be? Who could Big Red say would be the winner? Himself? Oh, well, I'm the winner. Look at my Instagram followers. Sorry, I'm loving your success, buddy.
I did have. It was a very funny moment getting on the flight with only like a little, like a few 100,000 people had watched it, which is amazing, obviously. Anyway, and then getting off the flight, it was like 1.5 million, and it'd been shared by Richard Sherman. It's just like, what is happening?
Unreal, mate. Well
Literally,
done.
what is
We're
happening?
very proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, let's say it again, shall we?
Yeah, no. Well, we get to do this all over again when it goes viral next week in Seattle. So
Yeah.
all the way to the
Just
Super Bowl,
crying,
baby.
crying in a commentary booth as we get absolutely battered.
Yeah, you're going to go viral for a different reason this week.
I think you're going to win.
I'm gonna. My winner has to be the San Francisco 49ers, but specifically the coaching on the San Francisco 49ers. To go back to 10 days ago, right? Against the Seattle Seahawks on the Saturday night of Week 18, that is easily the most frustrated I've been as a fan in a very long time. It was a game that was there for us to win. It was a game that we held their offense so often, and yet every time they got to a 3rd and long, the 3rd and 17 being the obvious one, the tackling was so poor, the communication was so poor, they kept giving up those moments. And then on the other side, I thought Shanahan had one of his worst coaching jobs of the whole season, where he just couldn't react to that Mike McDonald defense. He just couldn't figure it out. He couldn't get past it. Every time he got anyone in space, they would just shut down immediately, just hammered the moment the ball got to them. And it meant I went into this weekend so pessimistic. And to start off with the defence, for Eric Kendrick and Garrett Wallow to come in, two guys who weren't on the team a month ago, one of whom picked up off IR from the Denver Broncos and off their practice squad, the other literally off the sofa. Eric Kendricks nearly signed for the 49ers in the offseason in 2024, got a call from the Cowboys to go and work with his former defensive coordinator, so went to the Cowboys instead. And now, 18 months later, he's basically the MVP of a playoff game that we had no chance of winning beforehand. He makes the big pass breakup on the 4th down to end the game. But before that, he hit Saquon Barkley behind the line of scrimmage for a 2-yard loss on 3 separate occasions. Yeah. Like, that is, from a team that were the worst tackling team in the NFL to suddenly being absolutely impeccable. They gave up 1 penalty in the whole game, and I thought it was a ticky-tacky roughing the passer call on a Jalen Hurts slide where he was already going in before Jalen Hurts gave himself up. Other than that, they played this perfect, clean, brilliant tackling game. And I think Robert Saleh has to be hugely commended for what he did in that game. Not only that, losing Jair Brown during the game, having to rotate the safeties and the defensive backs in. Demo Lenore last week played every single snaps off left corner. This week he played 50% on either side of the field. Wow. Just one of those little adjustments that Saleh got this week. Nope, they were reading what the offense were doing and they were adjusting to it constantly. And it's the best I've seen the 49ers defense look without Fred Warner. And honestly, a sensational performance. And then on the other side, we talked about the George Kittle injury, right? The drive after the George Kittle injury, they don't bring other tight ends in. They moved to 11 personnel with Juszczyk playing as a tight end, and they brought Kendrick Bourne into the game. And basically he went, right, we're not going to be able to adjust to this on the fly. We've got a drive in front of us. We're going to go to 4 wide, and we're going to go to this sub-package. He must have a section of his playbook that we're going to go, right, we're going to run this. And then on the next drive, you start seeing Luke Farrell come in. You start to see Jake Tungis come in. You start seeing him. And the way the man's brain works, it is like that Beautiful Mind gif where like all those things are flying past him and he's like, like, I don't understand how when you've just gone through something that devastating and you're having to focus on what the defense are doing and game management and timeouts and all that other stuff, and also you're basically readjusting your entire game plan going up against one of the best defenses in the NFL, one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. Brock Purdy only sacked once in that game. The protection was brilliant, the play calling was brilliant, and actually after the first touchdown drive, which a lot of it came down to a crazy 61-yard DeMarcus Robinson catch and run, they went 3 and out the next couple of drives, and they adjusted, and they changed what they were doing, and everyone thought this was going to be a big CMC game, but it was all passing yards. It was all, everything that could come together in this situation came together, and Trent Williams said it to us in the locker room afterwards. They earned the chance to play for another week with their brothers and go out and prove themselves again. That is, I think, the best single game performance I've seen from a team all season. When you take all of the aspects outside of it, when you take them being almost a touchdown road underdogs, when you take all of the injuries as well, between the coaching and the execution, I just thought it was unreal. My concern this week is that you now go on the road to Seattle, who just absolutely handed your asses to you a week ago, and you're just going to have that huge come down off of that, and it's going to be messy.
That's what I'm going to ask you, like how much, I mean, obviously, they're going to be rewatching that game over and over again this week. Considering what he did in-game in terms of the changes he made, he's going to give him a week now to look at what he did wrong the previous time. Not wrong, what the Seahawks did right, because that defense was on fire. I'm starting to believe you could go there and...
Mike McDonald came into the NFC West, and he was the perfect hire for the Seahawks, because what he was doing at Baltimore as the defensive coordinator, the scheme that the Shanahan tree run, that McVay and Shanahan and LaFleur and all these guys, the way they run offense. Sorry to even mention his name around you. And McDaniel and all of these guys. He is the only defensive coordinator who's figured that stuff out. And so they went, right, well, we've got 2 of those guys in our division, maybe the 2 smartest guys in the whole NFL. Let's get the one guy that can beat them to come in. And he's done it sensationally so far. I think the Seahawks will adjust. I think they'll do some stuff. I think it's going to be the most fascinating chess match in the NFL this week.
Yeah.
But I didn't talk about the other side of the ball. I purposefully left out my feelings on the Eagles because I felt like our resident Eagles fan. Thought we might
Yeah, I'm
have
not going
some
to
thoughts on
be
it.
flapping much anymore, am I?
I was walking down the corridor, by the way, giving it a little bit of that.
I bet
the
you
locker
were.
room with
I
some of the
bet
Eagles
you were.
On
fans.
tippy toes as well.
Fly, Eagles fly.
I deserve that. I deserve it. And look, my loser is Kevin Patullo. And I could have gone with
Sirianni?
I could have gone with a number of Eagles personnel. Yeah, Sirianni, AJ Brown, even Jalen Hurts. Look,
Can I just tell you one thing from AJ Brown this week?
Go on.
You had 4 drops on third down in this game.
Yeah.
That's more drops on third down than the previous 17 games combined.
100%. Right, and also as well, if you're going to be moaning on the sideline all the time, you make these catches, AJ. Like, I can't be having you crying on the sideline, whinging, reading books, making it all about you. That when you get the ball, you drop it. But anyway, back to Kevin Patullo. That offense has been horrendous all year, and it was just another prime example of how much talent can you have and how can you misuse it so poorly. It's just, Jalen Hurts again, 168 yards in the air. Saquon had a good game, but it's just, the whole balance has been off all season. He's been the big difference this year since they won the Super Bowl. He's come in as offensive coordinator, and it's just looked so turgid. And I think he's ultimately the one that's going to get the chop. I think they'll probably trade away AJ Brown just because he's a nuisance. I don't think they're going to sack Sirianni yet. I think he's got there's too much in the bank, and I don't know how many other players in the locker room dislike him. I know AJ Brown does. I mean, we see every single week them two going at it. And Sirianni will always come out afterwards and be like, that's just our relationship. Maybe, but it's toxic and it's ruining everything that they could potentially achieve. They could have gone on, they had the defense they've got and the way they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year. This could have been a potential dynasty we're looking at. Whereas now it is done. Like, I can't see. I think it's been such a damaging season, and they've all gone so far backwards in this offense. I don't know if Jalen Hurts. I know he's called a game manager. He's had two of his best games have come in the Super Bowl though. So there's clearly talent in there, but I think KP's got to go. And it's it was it was a really poor season. I know they made it to the playoffs, but coming off of last year, the come down has just been terrible.
My concern is that he's Sirianni's best mate, right? He's been with him since he was the Colts quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Like, I think Sirianni still believes in him as much as literally no one else who's watched a game of football involving the Philadelphia Eagles this season should do. And being there in the stadium and watching the way the play calling developed over the course of the game, like, opening drive, Saquon Barkley, outside zone, 29 yards, like exactly what I was concerned about that whole game. They only ran him inside for basically the entire rest of the game. And I know he's had one cut back, and if he sees a hole, he's going to go inside, even if the run was meant to be outside. But literally, the second half, your play calling was Saquon Barkley up the middle for no gain. Saquon Barkley up the middle for 2 yards. Deep shot to AJ Brown that he's going to drop, punt the ball. Like, it was nothing. Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of watching the Falcons in Germany, and they've been one of the worst offenses from a scheme perspective this entire year. And when you have last year the best offence in football, and all you've lost is a converted guard inside, and Lane Johnson's a huge miss for you, but the 49ers have the worst pass rush in the NFL, so he shouldn't be that big a loss in this game. There was no creativity. As a fan, someone asked me on Sunday, I can't remember if I said this already on the show or just to you separately, someone asked me when I started to believe, right? After the CMC Jawan Jennings trick play touchdown, which, by the
reminiscent of this guy,
sensational.
Against the Falcons in the 90s, mid-90s.
Yeah.
Amazing. Jerry Rice juggles the ball, but then manages to get it downfield. Amazing stuff.
Calling the right play in the right moment. It's another reason the coaching job is a winner this week.
Yeah. Well, I think
the way that I've almost lost my point. The moment I began to believe, that's what I was saying. The moment I began to believe was when you settle for a field goal on that drive when you went up 19-17. And I was like, they've got nothing here. And even when you get down to the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, less than a minute remaining, you've still got all your timeouts. I'm like, they can just kill this game here. Yeah. And I have absolutely zero trust in them to do it. No. And you end up at a 4th and 11, and you end up throwing another ball over the middle into triple coverage. Dreadful. This was dreadful.
This was the first postseason since Jalen Hurts has been at the Eagles where he hasn't come into it being injured either. Every previous year, he's had either concussion issues, he's had knees, something's been wrong. And I thought, you know what?
We've all got knees, mate.
I know, yeah, sorry. But I think this was the first year where I was thinking, do you know what? He hasn't used his legs much this season. Maybe this has been some master plan by Sirianni and Patullo to be like, right, we're going to unleash him in the playoffs and he's going to run with the ball. Just nothing.
He had 2 design runs in the game, both of which were successful, and then they didn't run him again.
Come on.
And what's utterly damning for KP Patullo is Devontae Smith was one of the best players in the NFL last season, and I didn't even know he was playing the game on Saturday night.
He went emotional a lot pre-snap.
but that
Didn't
was
see
it.
the ball a lot post-snap.
You're not getting one of the best slot receivers in the league the ball when you need to move those chains. You need to get the ball downfield, and you're not doing it. And as you say, the offense became utterly predictable.
Right, and I know we're going on here, and I'm very aware of the time, but that's a prime example for me, right? Upton Stout for the 49ers has had a great rookie season for what he is, which is a mid-round pick who's only 5'9", who only weighs basically what a kick returner weighs, who is a heat-seeking missile but can be bullied by bigger receivers. Do you know who you put on that guy? A.J. Brown, not Devonta Smith, every single down. And every time he seemed to be lining up, it was on Devonta Smith. I'm just like, guys, I'm watching this as just some overweight nerd in the stands shouting about it. How am I understanding this and you're not understanding this? It's so simple. Put Devonta Smith on the outside against those not great perimeter corners, potentially, and he could be sensational, and you're just doing the same thing over and over again, the definition of madness.
Yeah, 100%. That's right.
I thought you were playing really well.
Right, let's move on to, the divisional weekend is this weekend. You're going to be in Seattle. We're super jealous. Let's pick our game of the week. I'll go first, I think. And 2 teams we haven't spoken about are the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Rams. And you could go either one of these. I think I'll go for the Sunday night football game of the Rams against the Bears, because the Rams, who offensively were really good against the Carolina Panthers, defensively I worry. But this game is set up to be an absolute shootout, isn't it? Like, you've got 2 really high-powered offenses. The thing, I don't fear it for the Bears because I want them to lose. I want them to crash and burn and fall into a pit of oblivion. But could this be? They won their Super Bowl last week against the Packers.
That didn't sound bitter at all.
Yeah, well, could it be that they've already played their Super Bowl, and the Rams, who have playoff nous, they've got Matthew Stafford, the incumbent MVP of the league. That offense is starting to fire. The 12, 13 personnel that they use. Devontae Adams is another week away from that injury that he faced that he had in later on in the season. Puka Nacua, and the run game's going well. I think this could be an absolute shootout because both defenses aren't very good.
I like the Rams front enough. I think the only way the Bears win this is if they run the ball really well.
And they haven't been doing that the last 3 or 4 weeks.
And by having a really good run game prior to that. So I think that's where they'll focus. I think that's what they've got to do. Get to the second level, challenge those small defensive backs that the Rams have. Quentin Lake, I thought, had a brilliant game at the weekend, but those corners aren't brilliant. I'm more positive on the Rams defense than you are. I still think they're probably the most complete team other than Seattle in the playoffs. But yeah, I expect a Rams victory this weekend.
Rams victory.
I'm going to go Rams victory.
What's your team? What's your game of the week?
So obviously now I've got no real vested interest in terms of teams that I like left in the playoffs. Both my Panthers, my Eagles.
My Panthers! Oh my God! You don't have 3 teams to support, surely.
I don't. Look, I'm going to go for Josh Allen's Bills travelling over to Denver. We haven't seen the Denver yet. They've had a week off. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. How much longer can Superman really? He was excellent once again. But I think I like the Broncos in this game. I think the defense might be a bit too much. We also as well know what Dermot's like in the playoffs, and technically Josh Allen. Is this where the train stops? I am rooting for Josh Allen to go all the way. I'd love to see it. I think he deserves to get a ring, but I don't know which way it's going.
Do you know what I really want from this game? And first of all, you can just soundboard me.
Yeah.
You can just go, because I'm going, the way Denver win this game is they're going to have to run the ball really well. Because they've run the ball terribly all year, but the Bills have a terrible run defense.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to run the ball well. But the one thing they have in Bo Nix, and I'm not a Bo Lever, but I do think...
You're getting there slightly. You're more of a Bo Lever than you were.
He is almost Caleb Williams levels of what he looks like in the fourth quarter versus the rest of games this year.
Yeah.
I just want a fourth quarter where you've got Josh Allen putting on the Superman cape, where you've got Bo Nix going, oh, it's the fourth quarter, I'll actually start playing football now. And like, I just want it to be a tight game up to the end of the third quarter, and then just be like touchdown, 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 and just like have 4 or 5 lead changes in the fourth quarter and just go absolutely nuts, because I think this has that potential.
Like that Kansas City Chiefs Bills
game, exactly.
So
and I think that could happen. I like the Bills. I actually kind of like the Bills to go to the Super Bowl now.
I'd love the Bills to go to the Super Bowl.
I think we're all in agreement now.
Josh Allen, let's face it, he's had a tough life recently.
Marrying Haley Steinfeld, winning the MVP, getting
She's
to AFC
pregnant
Championship
as
after
well,
AFC Championship. It's such a rough
But he's
time
still
to see Josh
super
Allen.
likeable. Sometimes when people do that, we tend to hate him.
He's an absolute golden retriever of a human being.
Golden retriever, that's amazing. I love Josh Allen. If I had a second team, I don't. It probably would be the Bills. I really like the Bills for this. I'm hoping for the Bills for this, but Sean Payton with a week off to fully scheme up against this Bills offense, who, unless it's Josh Allen doing something, they struggled to run the ball with James Cook at the weekend. There's some injury issues or concerns in that running back field with Ty Johnson, Davis as well, not totally healthy. So that needs to get going for them. Plus, that Denver defense is unreal. We spoke about it earlier on in the week. Who's the best defensive back in the league? Well, I forgot about, you brought it up.
Without me.
I forgot about, all right, I forgot about Patrick Surtain, and he is a guy that you just don't want to be throwing to. I say put Keon Coleman, because you're not going to throw to Coleman anyway, on Surtain if you can, and then stay away from Surtain. It's going to be a great game. Will, what could be the game you're most looking forward to? I know, I think he'll say he's already spoken too much about the 49ers, so he's going to go for his other team, his other pre-playoff team that he picked, and the Houston Texans against Drake May.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Hey, you pro.
Drake May had his worst half of football against the Chargers. I already said that this weekend, right? I think Drake May is going to reload. I think that offense is going to come back. I think they're going to go and have to test the best defense in football this season. Are they the best? Are the Seahawks the best? I just don't know. This is the best defensive playoffs I can remember in ages, because you've got 3 unreal defenses in there with the Broncos as well. I think this will be a low-scoring but tense, intense, turnover-heavy, back and forth. It might be one for the purists, but I really like that game. And I think I'm going to pick the Texans going on the road.
Is that heart
to New
over
England?
head?
No, I don't think it is. I think that New England, as much as they're a real fairy tale story this year, this 4-win team going and winning 13 games the following season, being hair's breadth away from being the 1 seed. Drake May turns into a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Like, it is this fairy tale story. I think they are still thin. I think they still don't have pass rush. I think the defense, as much as they had their best game of the season this last weekend against Justin Herbert, are going against a better unit overall in the Texans. I think it's going to be that hurdle too far for them. And I think the Texans do them.
Justin Herbert, who we need to talk about in the off-season, by the way.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Absolutely, we need to talk about him.
Don't you worry.
I want the Texans, but I worry about... No, I don't worry about them. I think that defense is absolutely legit and the best defense in football.
I hate both teams. I don't really care, to be honest.
Keep listening to Across the Formation. Keep listening to Across the Formation because we care.
No, I hate the Texans slightly less than the Patriots, but I really like Drake May, and it's so confusing. But I'm going to go with the Texans. I think the D is just a bit too strong.
It's so confusing.
It is, mate.
I like that.
Can we just say we've picked 3 road teams so far, and I think you idiots are about to pick the 49ers as well. So, with that can't happen. Seattle are beating the 49ers this weekend. I'm sorry. I know I'm going. I know I'm excited about it. But
we'll do an edit as well where he says the 49ers as well.
I'll say something different when I'm there. But yeah, I think Seattle have too much for them.
When you're going in on the 49ers bus, you say something different.
Just quick pick that game for me, though. Which way are you going?
I'm going to go Seattle as well.
Yeah, there we go.
No, 49ers. Road teams. Let's go.
All road teams.
Yeah, let's
winning.
go. All road teams.
What a wild weekend.
And all of them will, 3 of them will be live on talkSPORT 2. Really looking forward to it. And Will Gavin will be there in stadium. Just amazing. What a ride you've had this season.
I can't get over it. I genuinely, it's so surreal, and all the messages have been so lovely, and Radio Row's going to be mad this year. And we're going to have the coverage from Radio Row, by the way, at the Super Bowl. We're going to have a daily show every day from Tuesday through Saturday. We're going to have regular bits on there on talkSPORT. The talkSPORT USA YouTube page is going to be packed with exclusive content. We are going to be doing so much from out there on social and everywhere else, TikTok, Instagram. So just get ready for your brains to be overloaded with top-tier content from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and across the formation will be across it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Across the Super Bowl. No, it doesn't
no,
quite work.
no,
it
terrible.
doesn't work.
Let's not end it on that.
No, let's.
That's like at the end of Aaron Rodgers' career.
Wasn't it?
That's you throwing a pick six
man.
to end this podcast. You're ending it there.
What a show we've had, and then I do that, I throw an interception. Thank you for listening to Across the Formation with talkSPORT Bet. We'll be here every week, and please subscribe, tell your friends, and see you next time.
But boys, it's not just this swanky new studio and the fact we're actually all together for once and all of that nonsense this week. We also, and me going viral, let's not forget that.
Oh, yeah. You haven't brought that up enough.
The other new thing this week is we've got a sponsor.
What? What idiot's done that?
The lovely people, no. The wonderful people at talkSPORT Bet are coming in and getting involved in the show because, I mean, with it being divisional round weekend coming up and then the conference championship after that and the Super Bowl, talkSPORT Bet are giving new customers a brilliant welcome offer. Bet £10, get £40 in free bets. That's right, stake a tenner on any NFL market and you'll get 40 quid back in free bets to use across all of the action. Whether it's touchdown scorers, match winners, whether it's, whether you're betting the line, whether you're betting the spread, whatever it is, talkSPORT Bet has you covered all the way up to the Super Bowl. Just head to talksportbet.com/NFL, sign up, place your £10 bet and you'll enjoy £40 in free bets. It is new customers only. Bet £10, get the £40 in free bets. Minimum odds apply. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.